Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we're just going over game news. I know there are some Apple rumors out there that we can go over, and I usually have an opinion piece or some cool hardware to talk about, but I currently have 3 pages of game news, so that's all we're going over today. There's plenty of new releases, flat screen game mods, lots of free demos to check out, updates to your favorite games, and basically something for everyone. There are of course timestamps and links in the description, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, your one-stop for all VR accessories. Are you looking for a Quest 2 Elite strap that won't suddenly snap on you, or a face pad that won't irritate your skin? Well, Kiwi has you covered. They carry a large array of accessories from cable management systems to replacement facial covers. There are links in the description, and don't forget to use my affiliate code to help support this channel. Okay, so let's start things off with a 5-year-old VR title that recently made its way onto the Oculus Applab. Starfighter Arduxim is only $3.99, features 14 campaign levels, online competitive multiplayer, and some voice-acted cutscenes that will remind you of the original Wing Commander. The original PC VR version doesn't have many reviews, but they're mostly positive. And the Applab version that was released 3 days ago currently has 1 positive review. So for $3.99, it might sound like something worth checking out for those space fighters out there. But for one lucky individual, I have a key on screen right now. This is a Quest key that you can activate. I've actually never done that before, but why the hell not? Okay, so while we're talking about free stuff in Applab, we have to mention Z-Race. Z-Race is an absolutely amazing third-person VR racing title, and to help promote their release on Applab, they're currently running a cash tournament. The Applab Cup, running from now until September 24th, is offering up cash prizes from $50 to $300. All you have to do is download the demo from Applab and rank within the first 10 positions. Now, I actually love this game, and not just because I'm in it. That's right, I have my very own Mateo311 car in this game, and you can hear my voice if you use that car. Unfortunately, that's not available on the Applab just yet, but when it is eventually unlocked, your game will instantly get so much better. Speaking of things getting better, Grapple Tournament is coming to the Oculus Quest. Now, there's currently a demo available on Applab, but it's also in beta testing, so if you want to sign up to be a Grapple Tournament Oculus Quest beta tester, there is a link down in the description, and I will say guys, this is an amazing first-person shooter. It plays a lot like the classic title Unreal Tournament, with the added addition of some crazy VR grapple-based locomotion. That might sound nausea-inducing, but I have to say, I felt absolutely zero discomfort playing this title, and it looks and runs great. The closest VR comparison is Hyperdash, but both of these titles are unique enough to stand on their own. Speaking of standing on its own, an alpha demo was recently made available for Hellsweeper, and it gives an amazing first impression. This is from the studio that brought us Sorrento, and this time they're pulling us down to hell. It has truly unique VR mechanics, which have you summoning weapons with special hand gestures. There's roguelite elements, physics-based combat, and tons of gore, which I really enjoy. At first glance, it's easy to compare this title to Everslot, but they're not quite the same. Everslot is definitely nailing the atmosphere, graphics, and overall tone, while Hellsweeper does a better job of implementing VR mechanics and physics-based combat. In the future, I hope both of these titles pull some elements from one another. Okay guys, we're currently 4 minutes into this video, and we didn't even get to new releases or game updates yet, and before we get there, I do have an unlikely place for you to check out some VR content, and that's the Microsoft Windows Game Pass. Currently, Tetris Effect is available on Game Pass, and I got to try it for my first time the other night. I never wanted to spend $30 just to experience Tetris in VR. I know there's amazing visuals, great music, multiple gameplay modes, and online play, which makes it much more than just Tetris, but $30 was more than I was willing to commit to. Well, you can get a Microsoft Game Pass for $1 on the first month, and that's an absolutely amazing deal. Now that deal is instantly made even better because Mech Warrior 5 is on Windows Game Pass, and there's currently a VR mod for the title. When VR was first announced, my brain immediately went to Mech Warrior. I can't believe it's taken this long, but now you can actually experience Mech Warrior in VR. As a flat screen title, Mech Warrior has some features we don't typically see in VR, like DLSS and ray tracing, so this is most likely going to be a visual stunner. I'm downloading the title as we speak to go ahead and test this out. Okay, we finally made it to upcoming releases, and first on the list is Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Last Call. This title is coming to the Oculus Quest on September 15th for $9.99, and we just recently got a new trailer. I have to say, it's finally looking pretty darn good. I was really disappointed in the original Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, but it looks like now we're getting a deeper storyline, some cooler combat, and hopefully just some overall updates. Honestly, after the first title, I almost swore off this game completely, but the concept of becoming a bounty hunter and learning a bit more about the origins of the First Order definitely intrigues me. Let's just hope this one doesn't disappoint. Okay, so next up is the unique atmospheric survival title, A Song in the Smoke. We haven't heard much about this title for quite some time now, but we just recently got confirmation that the game will be releasing on September 18th for the Oculus Quest, Rift, and PSVR. A Song in the Smoke focuses on VR-centric survival mechanics. You'll have to strike flint to start a fire, gather resources, use a bow to hunt, and even craft other weapons to use in-game. There's also a large emphasis on unique enemy AI. Animals will react differently based on their hunger level. These are the little nuances that really make a title shine, and I'm definitely interested in seeing this in action. Another title I'm definitely interested in seeing in action is the 4-person co-op dungeon crawler Legendary Tales. This title is releasing on Steam in early access on September 9th. It features physics-based combat, a pre-designed dungeon to explore, and an RPG-style attribute system. There's also randomly generated loot, and the developers are referring to this as a next-generation VR ARPG. I'm definitely gonna have to jump in and see how this compares to my current favorite co-op dungeon crawler, Carnage Chronicles, because that game currently has no competition. Okay, our next title looks like a combination between the original Crisis Brigade and Super Hot. Agent Simulation has you dodging bullets and taking down cartoon enemies. The trailer makes it clear that you'll have to focus on your precision and timing and prepare for a wild ride like diving out a window and taking out enemies while you're falling. There's currently a demo available for this game both on Steam and the Applab, and the full release is coming sometime later this year in the fourth quarter of 2021. Now another title coming in 2021 is Cradle of Sins. Does that name ring a bell? Well, for some it might. This title's actually been around for a long time. It was set to be one of VR's first MOBA titles, and they even had a huge tournament a long time ago. Development for this title has shifted gears a bit. It will release with both a flat and PC VR version, with both co-op and PvP modes. Now the game still very much remains a MOBA at heart, but I can't actually tell you what this is gonna look or play like. The new teaser trailer doesn't give us anything to go on, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens in the future. Okay, so our last release update is for the newly announced title Cosmonious High. This is from the same developers that brought us Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator, and now we're heading to an alien high school that's totally not having any malfunctions whatsoever. So after crash landing into school on your very first day and gaining some magical powers, you're gonna have to help fix some of those malfunctions. Cosmonious High looks like a fun, humor-based adventure, but unfortunately we're gonna have to wait till sometime in 2022 for it to release. Okay, so we finally moved into game update territory, and we were just given a glance to combat updates for the upcoming VR MMO Zenith. Melee combat is receiving some physics-based updates. You could flip your sword up in the air, throw it around like a Jedi controlling a lightsaber, and even use it to block incoming projectiles. I was in both alpha sessions for Zenith, and I will say combat is definitely lacking in this title, so these updates will look like a step in the right direction. Speaking of taking a step in the right direction, we got some information on Update 10 for Blade and Sorcery. This will introduce the highly anticipated Dungeons mode, which are procedurally generated levels. Now the selection of rooms in version 10 will only be a small sample of what they have planned in the future, and we're only getting some minor AI tweaks, but this definitely brings the game one step closer to a single-player experience and out of the sandbox state that it's currently in. We can also expect a hefty performance boost in this upcoming update. There's no official release date for it just yet, but I can't wait to try this out. Now another title working on a new update is Yupitergrad. The Soviet-themed grappling hook platforming title is currently testing a gymnasium sandbox mode. So rather than the single player campaign or the linear time attack levels, you now have a space where you could just fool around and test out cool moves. This is currently in testing for the Oculus Quest, and I will include a link down in the description if you want to try and get into the beta. Okay, so next up, the military themed 5v5 shooter Alvo is coming to the Oculus Quest, but only the Oculus Quest 2. That's right, there will be no support for the original Oculus Quest, and this is something I expect to see with more and more titles moving forward. Now, if you're not familiar with Alvo, it's currently available on the PlayStation VR. It features some basic gameplay modes including Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Search and Destroy. It's a great option on PlayStation VR where there's less competition, but I don't know how it's going to stack up on the Oculus Quest, where there's more competition like Onward, Pavlov, and an array of other sci-fi themed shooters. Okay guys, we've finally made it to the last topic, and that's the Warhammer title, Age of Sigmar Tempestfall, getting delayed until later this year. I was really looking forward to an action-adventure title set in the dark and gritty Warhammer universe, but the developers have decided to delay this game in order to upgrade the combat and progression systems. I am 100% behind this delay. If the combat falls flat in the title, it will end up being completely forgettable, similar to Warhammer 40k Battle Sister. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the game, but it was nothing special. Combat wasn't nearly as visceral or action-oriented as it should have been, and it's a tough title for me to recommend, even as a huge Warhammer fan. Now, Tempestfall has more focus on melee combat and magic abilities, and that's a lot harder to nail in VR than a typical shooter, so let's hope they pull it off and we finally get an excellent Warhammer title. Okay everybody, that was today's new VR news. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and as always, I will see you guys on next time.